Another week,
Hey, Jan.
another dollar.
No,
How are you anyway?
I'm good, Jan.
What's on the agenda today?
We've no classes in here, and we're hosting. Well, it's still on an International Women's Day coffee morning,
That's brilliant.
which has been going on in our community kitchen, and has been a massive success. We're not in there, so
Oh, we're not allowed into
not
it.
today.
We're not allowed into it.
But from
We're ostracised then.
we are. Well, we live with that. We were, but by all means, there's a lot of people going in now. It's great, and the chance it was a bit of a draw, and just I suppose women coming together.
It's
share,
good.
Share experience and thoughts, and it's nice. It's nice.
Well,
good.
it is actually easier for men to get together because the pub culture is not as much as it was years ago. But the pub culture is there that we could still go into a pub. As a man, you could walk into a pub, no one would take any notice. If a woman walked into a pub on her own.
Yeah.
Even up to probably last couple of years, John, everyone kind of take notice of what this woman's coming in on her own.
Yeah.
So you can understand it's nice for places to go that women can.
This place has always been.
It's always very welcome. Anyway, for men, women, or
suppose
anyone. Yeah.
60-70% of our learners are probably female anyway.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
they're all quite comfortable here.
Yeah.
But we've had a few people say, "Oh, we didn't know you were here. We'll be back again," and very great. And we had a nice spread on for them, so it was really
That's-
really nice
That's good.
and good to see.
yeah.
So I suppose we kind of talked. I suppose to talk about Women's Day, and I suppose we said it is a community issue. So I suppose the campaign theme for International Women's Day this year, which is it's similar I suppose every year, is to inspire inclusion. So it's I suppose their goal was to inspire others to understand and value women's inclusion, and to forge a better world. And then women themselves are inspired to be included. So I suppose that's really building up capacity where people are empowered.
Yeah.
And it's the same with community development in a nutshell, anyway.
Yeah.
So there's a sense of belonging, relevance, and empowerment there, and so collectively, women would forge a more inclusive world. That for women, I suppose you think about it. I suppose male privilege is a very common.
Well, we
term.
take it for granted.
Yeah,
really.
and there still is that. I mean,
Yeah.
I suppose as a man looking through the world and looking at you through your eyes at the world, but seeing it from the
We see
perspective of
different
a
of a
woman,
woman, yeah.
it's different.
Yeah.
I mean, I read something once that a woman said, look, when they're in a car park on their own, they have their keys ready, and we'd never look at things that way, and it's to be able to, I suppose it's empty really, to be able to understand that the world women have to view the world differently, and to be more, I suppose, aware of it, and to be more kind of understanding of like we're all human beings. It's not that much. The women are from Venus, men are from Mars. There is a difference, and we have different gender specific
That's
stuff.
what makes the ball go round.
But at the end of the day, there are differences that we should be,
aware of, especially as being a man.
Yeah, and like me and you were both married and happily married, and
John, we're married.
We're married. But
happily married,
and that, I suppose, long-term relationships last if you do understand your partner and just listen to them and try and see things from their point of view.
Well, sometimes you have to see their side of life as well, as I say, because in fairness, they always say that, and my father used to say it, who wasn't a very kind of a soft man or whatever, never expect, but he said the mother's the mainstay of the home.
Alright, or the glue that holds the
family together.
Yeah.
We all circulate around the mother, that's what he used to say,
You hear that sometimes when in a family, when people get older, if the man passes away, that family can kind of separate.
They can separate,
There's
done in tons of families.
It is the glue that binds,
yeah.
So I did stuff for International Women's Day that I was just reading about, I suppose, like the history of Women's Day, where this kind of movement started. So it's as bold and brilliant as its founders themselves, apparently. Long before the feminist movement, which was really in the 60s, the burning of the bra and all that.
And stuff,
International Women's Day, the start of it goes back to 1909 in New York, with a focus on women's rights, because of course there were times when women didn't have the vote, and I remember a woman couldn't get a mortgage on her own.
That's right.
And I remember it being difficult in the early 90s in this country.
Yeah.
So it was first proposed by a lady called Theresa Malkiel, and loosely based on an urban legend commemorating a protest by the women garment workers in New York in 1857. So 100 women delegates from 17 countries agreed with the suggestion as a means to continue promoting rights of women, including suffrage, which is essentially the right to vote.
Yeah.
And it really was about rights. And a lot of the good things that come from any kind of movement is basically improving different people's rights.
Yeah.
So it was officially marked in 1911, International Women's Day. And more than one people celebrated in Austria, Denmark, Germany and Switzerland. You know, Europe has always been quite progressive in that regard, I suppose. Women demanded the right to vote to fight against sexual discrimination in the workplace and the whole public office. So in 1913, the Women's Day was recognised in Russia for the first time, and it became part of what led to the Russian Revolution in 1917. Whoa. So at that time in St. Petersburg, women went on strike for bread and peace, demanding an end to World War I, the czars and all that, and the shortage of food because famine was a common thing.
Of course, it was a big thing back then.
So that's kind of the history of it. And I suppose together here, I mean, we were even, do you remember before, a few years ago, it's a CE scheme here, and I think at one point, did we have any women working on the CE scheme? I think there was, none.
For a short period of time, in fairness, we had, it was all men.
It was all men. And I suppose, depending on the roles you offer, but we've quite a lot of office roles, and I suppose the gender balance, it's healthier to have that balance in different perspective in a workplace.
I think it is,
but now it's kind of getting better. I mean, with two girls in the office, we have, I think half our board is female, half our board management, and we've just taken on another lady, and it's healthier. It's the same way you want an age difference, you want to get all the different perspectives.
You don't want the same age group. You want
you want
people with different opinions.
And people with disabilities and all that kind of stuff. So
that's
great. So I mean, it's just recognising the fact that we are an inclusive society. What we do here is always about inclusiveness. The same way, if you're from Kazakhstan, if you're from Pakistan, doesn't matter. If
doesn't matter where you're from.
Do a class, if you want to feel like you belong somewhere, that's what a community centre is about. And that's what we try to do. And it's the same, you know, whether it's your sexual orientation, whether it's your gender, you know, whether it's your religious persuasion, it doesn't matter. That stuff doesn't matter.
But even some of the jobs that were going on around as well, some of the people that unfortunately weren't working here long enough, people that had come into the country were working here long enough and actually were trying to apply for the jobs, but unfortunately they had to be firstly they had to get their notification of their eligibility, and secondly then they had to wait a year after that.
I think 6 months now for Ukrainians to
6
come
months,
and see. Well, there's a few changes on the way that are officially.
Well, I think it should change, John, because there is genuine people out there that after coming into the country that actually do want to work.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think
a lot of the women do.
It's great.
Yeah.
And
in fairness, some
people see it as an avenue in the education and the working as well to kind of integrate themselves in a new society.
Yeah.
So
and better yourself.
And the thing is, women have always been great at pushing forward for their education, for their children, and for the family. There's a kind of a mindset that's taken away with women, I've found, and this is from my experience with working. My mother was a literacy tutor, and she used to work with marginalised groups, I suppose, in ADAPT, women's services, and with traveller groups and everything. And especially, it was always noted in the traveller groups that the women tend to push the kids for education more, whereas the male kind of stubbornnness holds us back at times.
Want to keep the traditions going.
It's the same way I've noticed myself that women get together, they can talk and unload their feelings, and it's something traditionally men didn't do because it was weak.
You were showing a weakness.
And you know,
that's just my phone going down. My apologies.
So look, I suppose really breaking down those barriers, and it's something to admire about women. I think that they can come together and talk and unload their feelings and share and life experience and all that kind of thing. And as you know, there are women involved in the centre that have been involved for us, and they've been really, really fantastic in driving what we're trying to achieve. So we're all the better for it.
So we are the better for it, and we are the better for having the ladies in here as well, because they give us a different outlook on things.
Yeah.
And sometimes you need that more kind of sympathetic,
nurturing. We can learn from it.
We can learn from it. Yeah. Men need to learn a lot.
Do you know when I started in community kind of development work, first thing I said, oh God, thank God it's a guy, and it wasn't in any way. Do you know why? Because there's so many females in community development that men traditionally didn't go into those roles because it was seen as nurturing. But sometimes I suppose if you're working like at the startups with older persons groups, and some of the older lads might have wanted they might have a lad there that they could talk to if they're going on a trip or something, and you were involved in organising it. So look, it is very good to get the balance right.
Yeah, it is.
It's a healthy society.
And it says here, John, as well, communist countries and organisations supported it, actually, like you said, with Russia.
Yeah.
But China, in 1922, it reached China.
Yeah.
Which, like I suppose at times we all kind of look down at our noses at some of the countries saying, they're not very good.
No, I mean, I suppose with China, I mean, there's cultural kind of bias, and then there's kind of legislative bias. I believe there's a term in China: if a woman isn't married by 27, they're called left on the shelf. I know we've heard that term here. That's a bit young, but anyway,
that's very young.
But that's probably a cultural thing. Whereas the legislative stuff would be the stuff like then in some of the Middle Eastern countries, like the burqa, the revolution, the taking off the burqa, the blasphemy police and all that.
The police
that'd be more beyond culture.
Yeah.
It is part of the culture, but it'd be more so it's indoctrinated into law.
But at times,
I suppose I'm not too surprised with China in one way.
But at times, it is a man-made law.
Oh yeah,
really.
It's
most laws
patriarchal society,
man-made laws. Back in the ages when.
But it is the society, I suppose, in general is you see the breakdown of the. Even our government, it's and we get all right. There's always these things, but women go back and they have children, they take time off, and even take that away. I mean, the balance is so kind of polarized where it could be 75% men, and it shouldn't be that way.
It shouldn't be that way.
No. And often now you are seeing there are a lot of female ministers now, and you often get a more clear perspective, and I mean. Maybe you take away, I suppose, the testosterone fueled kind of alpha male kind of rubbish, and then maybe you will get a more kind of centered view and more fair and impartial.
Fairer view,
I don't know, and that's where the balance comes in, because we all have our attributes as specific to our genders as well as specific to our character, and it's no harm just to have that balance there that we can share.
Well, a man said years ago, back in the day, he said a boy is given what you call it? What's the name of the war figure that you used to get? Action Man.
Oh, the Action Man.
Yeah, and the girl was given Barbie. The two were a doll.
Yeah, they're both dolls.
Same things.
Yeah, one had a gun and one had
one had a pen. Yeah, a handbag. Yeah. So
I think the Barbie days. I know they had the movie and all, but I mean,
I think those days are moving away. Which kids,
if
a kid wants to play with a toy, if he wants to play with a Coke, or if he wants to play with or the same with the girl if she wants to play with a Hurley or a dinosaur or things like that.
No, they'll probably 9 times out of 10 they'll follow the gender specific kind of laws themselves, and I know we go that crazy bit with they and them and thou and
I
don't
hard
know
if that's another kind of thing.
I do believe if a little boy wants to pick up, I don't know, whatever unicorn, that's fine, or if a little girl picks up a train track, that's fine too.
But that's how you learn.
I wouldn't be concerned about
why are men drummed into one way and women are drummed into another. Now, thank God that's changing. It's
gender
not
norms.
Gender norms, thank God that's all changing now. And the
what's expected of us, John?
Yeah.
And that's from birth.
Yeah.
Sure, and the thing in Victorian times, blue was for a girl and pink was for a boy, and that switched over in the early part of the 20th century, I believe.
Also, there's still a few of my mates wouldn't wear pink.
Yeah.
And this is what
no, I wouldn't either, because it doesn't go up my eyes, John.
Yeah, I understand. One of our workmates would wear pink. He'd look lovely in pink.
He does, pretty in pink. No, but I don't know. It's important to listen to,
to both sides of an argument.
I think probably if I'm honest, I think women have listened to us better than we've listened to them.
I think so too. Yeah.
And we need to admit that. And that's one's wrong or the other. I mean, the world needs both, but it's just, I do think it's important for us to open up and listen a bit more to what our, it's 50% of the country like.
Yeah, but Paula has a valid point as well. She said, who's starting all the wars?
Yeah. You don't tend to, tend to get that. Now then you could be saying stuff like when women do get in power, like Margaret Thatcher.
She persecuted
they
everyone.
Can be, but like, generally
it's demanded.
That is true. Patriarchal world,
unfortunately, but it is changing, which is great, John. And days like these things, International Women's Day, is probably one for the future. It is. There a long time.
Yeah.
But is there any International Men's Day, John?
Somebody said there was one in November. God, somebody then said to me, "Isn't every day?" So I personally don't feel as someone born within male privilege and all.
Yeah, I don't think we need to be celebrating.
In
fairness, I think we've the upper hand of things over
over
centuries.
I don't
think
feel
men
need to celebrate it. Like,
no, I don't think so either. I think women do because, as I said, it's a place they can get together and talk and peace. And yeah, I'm the same. I'm fine with it. They just when we go back in, hopefully there's some buns left for the rest of the men that are working in the place. They haven't scavenged it all, like, but say no more. No, but that's great. Women's International, and still the funny thing about it is, I said it to one or two people in my own house, and
didn't know about it,
and their two daughters. No. No.
You see, I suppose, knowing your daughter's ages, are they born into a world where they wouldn't have seen the struggle as strong as like your wife Paula would have seen it when she was younger?
Her mothers would have seen it.
I remember my aunt, and I remember when she had to remortgage her house on her own, when she got divorced. She had to get a broker to find, and this was the early 90s or mid 90s, because she was a woman on her own, and
John, that's stone throw away. Like, in fairness,
your daughters haven't seen that as
they haven't seen that side of it.
No. It's, I suppose, it'd be the same person as like a black person born in this that was growing up in the 60s in America would see that the civil rights movement. I know there's still a lot of work to do in that. Let's be honest about it. But it was a bigger kind of a eye-opening kind of scenario. And so maybe then when your life isn't affected in a negative way, maybe that's it.
Maybe it's good sometimes.
Maybe it's not advertised enough.
But as you know yourself, even people say about voting, not to go off track or anything, but we probably take things for granted now as such and things like that. Our rights to things. And same probably with some of the younger women that haven't experienced what our parents, grandparents, grandmothers, and the whole lot would have experienced. So
I think great grandparents of ours, female, wouldn't have been able to vote. Like.
No. Probably half of them weren't able to read and write because
that's
you
were
gone from your father's table, as you used to say, and you were gone into marriage straight away, and things like that. That was it. You lost your name, you lost your whole identity, which things like these are actually bringing people's identity back, and especially women's identity.
No, I suppose just with we have the forum for it. We don't give out a time, or we don't give out, but we do host a women's drop-in centre for ADAPT Women's Services.
That's right.
If you contact us here in the centre, we'll arrange with you. As long as you're female, we don't give the information out to males, and we don't advertise the time unless somebody rings in specific. But we do host that here, and we've always supported that for quite some time.
And everything is in confidence as well, which is understandable.
And we adapt the people you deal with who have the experience and the skill to deal with it. We just host it, and but we're happy to pass on the information once you do. Contact us here at the centre on 061 313 993. 061 313 993.
It's a fantastic lady comes in here as well. She's brilliant, you know. But geez, no, John, it's very good that we've had that today, and maybe hopefully next year, with a bit of luck, more people might get involved.
Have we a little bit of time just to plug?
Yeah, no problem at all, John.
I suppose this International Women's Day in this country is actually done with Women's Aid, who are an organisation who also support women, and especially against domestic abuse and all that kind of stuff. So they kindly lent us some of the graphics and some of the kind of posters there to put up, and we had a good turnout today, and women were able to share experiences with other women of different age groups, which is very important, and we can all learn from each other. And just to thank Women's Aid for the support on that. And they can be contacted as well. They have a national free phone helpline, and it's 1800 341 900. And that's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and their website is womensaid.ie.
That's good. And what kind of things do they cover, John, if you don't mind, just since, because I wouldn't really...
Yeah, they support women, like they've the free phone helpline.
An overall kind of...
So domestic abuse, and they're instrumental in winning improvements in the Domestic Violence Act in Ireland, so they'll be kind of advocates for women and their rights in this country. They have an emergency fund for women and children. They established it, and so they grant over 300,000 euros to 30 plus services across Ireland, so stuff like the maternity project, employer engagement program. So they have a thing called a high risk support project, and it's a nationwide, so that'll be people at risk of violence, domestic violence, and that can go ultimately into murder or whatever. So that's what they do. They help women escape the terror of domestic violence, which is very, very important.
It's very prevalent as well. As I said, we don't really know what goes on in anyone's closed doors, and as I said, a lot of it's down to, unfortunately, one partner having alcohol abuse or whatever, or drugs or whatever, and changes the person.
Might even
or
be that.
coercive.
Sometimes they don't.
Just coercive. Just get that
power
bit of jealousy and things like that.
Or there mightn't even be reasons that are clear.
No, it could be just
they're just a bad person.
They know they're powerful, more powerful than the person.
They reckon even stuff like rape, and it's not even about the sexual act at times. It's about power and
control over the person.
And in reality, that person is a small little person, and that's when they lose that. And we've heard the stories, but that's when they realise they don't have any more power or control over anything. And that's often. And
there's some other things there, John. Of course, the 4th of March, which is gone to Saturday night. Unfortunately, that's gone. No, they're all finished anyway, those, John. So, no, John, that was very good, and it was a great turnout as well. There was a few
regulars, new people,
and a couple of board members were here as well. So, lady board members, which was great. They supported the thing and everything, So
one of the lads nicely collected some flowers and laid out on the table.
That's right.
Him,
we're fair play to him. So that was nice. Tulips. Yeah, himself and the fella he works with.
Tulips.
They're my 2 tulips, all right, but hopefully there'll be a bigger turnout here next year, John. There was a good advertising of it as well, which was brilliant, done by the lads inside.
Look, it's something we want to get behind. Obviously, a lot of the people, we all have mothers, sisters, wives, and daughters, and let's be kinder and more considerate to the kind of trials and tribulations that they have in life in general, and have conversations. And it's very important for men to be involved in those conversations too, to understand more. There are stuff you don't realise the perspective of a woman is different to ours in regards to safety of their own personal safety, or in many other cases. And it's important that we try to examine why we need to see things like that, and to understand, just to make sure that we can be there for the people.
Well, that's the main thing. Understanding. Understanding's a big thing, because as you said earlier on, we don't have to be looking over our shoulder all the time when we're walking around, no matter where we're going. But at the end,
within reason.
Within reason, but within reason, we don't. We kind of just. We take things kind of for granted. We can do things, and as I said, John, it's a great day, John. So we'll sign off on that, John.
That's great, John. Thanks very much.
No problem. Thank you, Jay. A lot of insight into it, and hopefully we'll have more people attending, and also keep a lookout, because there's other places around Limerick and Ireland that support women's rights.
We'll always be an advocate,
which is the main thing, an advocate for it, and
it's what we're here for.
We're always welcome. Anyone's welcome here, and as I said, we'll finish it there anyway. John, thanks very much, John, for all your work, and thanks to St Mary's Adult Education Centre as well for leaving us pipe on the radio, and Limerick City Community Radio as well. We'd like to say thank you to both of them, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you.
All the best, John. Thank you.